Hi, this is Scott Brady. I'm the owner of Progressive Property Management. Today we're going to talk about leasing your property. The most important part of owning a rental property is finding good tenants. A bad tenant can make your life both expensive and miserable. We manage over 1,000 properties, so we deal with a lot of tenants, finding tenants and put them in our properties. So we're getting pretty good at this. And we'll share what we do and may help you when you need to find your next tenant. So first, you want to market your property extensively as you can. If you're just putting it in one piece of paper or a sign in the front yard, you're missing a huge market. You want to get the biggest pool of tenants you can interested in your property. We use the multiple listing service, which is very effective. A lot of people use Zillow. That's pretty effective, even Craigslist. But the key is to get it out there. Once you have applicants, it's important that you have a criteria and that you actually have something written down as what you're looking for that you could share with any tenant. What I mean by criteria is, what's the minimum credit score you're looking for? Typically, over 700 is an A+ type tenant. Anything under 600 would be a C type tenant. So for our company, we want to go higher than 600 on a credit score. So that's credit. Also, you look at the credit, they all have credit card debt because last thing you want is to have them to go into bankruptcy, because then that could throw your property into bankruptcy and that gets expensive as well. So once again, you want to look at the credit, credible credit. 2 is income. Probably the most important part is, can they actually afford to pay for your property? Standard in the property management industry is that they need to have 3 times the income as opposed to your rent. So if you're asking $2,000 a month in rent, you want to show that they have at least $6,000 in gross income from all the people who will be living in the property. And you want to verify that through pay stubs. You want to verify through getting the copy of their tax return, their Schedule C if they're self-employed, or their corporate return. But you want to verify their income, because if they can't pay for your rent, that's going to be a problem down the road. Sometimes they don't have great income, but they've got a lot of money in the bank, right? They've got $1 million in the bank. That's great, but the problem is if they stop paying, you don't get that $1 million in the bank. All you can do is evict them. And of course, you may try to get a judgment against them. You're not guaranteed to get that money back. So income is just really critical. They may have a lot of money in the bank, but then that's sending off a lot of dividends or interest, and that's something you can certainly verify. So make sure you verify their income. The next thing you want to look at is their rental history. You are allowed to look back and see if they have any evictions in the last 3 years. Do they have any lates on their last rental? If they had a late, what was the reason? Can they explain that? But you want to look back the rental history if they're tenants. If they were owners, of course, you'll see it in the credit report. So you do definitely want to look at their rental history. And a real important thing you want to ask them is, why do you want to rent our property? Now, you can't discriminate, based on all the fair housing criteria, but you're certainly allowed to ask what their motivation is. So what's their reason for leaving their last property? What's their reason for renting your property? That's a totally legitimate and an important question to ask. The other thing you want to do with any tenant is make sure your property is rent ready. Before tenant takes possession, you want to make sure that its water heaters strapped, smoke detectors are in, carbon monoxide in, the property is in good, clean condition, and you document all of that. Before we let a tenant in, we take many photos, even video, because once a tenant moves in, they're entitled to normal wear and tear, and you need a basis so you know did they deviate from normal wear and tear? Was it excessive damage? Because you want to show before and after. The longer they live there, the more damage, if you will, more wear and tear they're allowed to do to your property. But if they're just there for a year, that property should be in pretty good condition once they move out. And you want to document that, because once they move out, you have 21 days to give them their deposit back, less any damages they've caused your property or cleaning if they didn't clean it properly. So once again, you want to make it rent ready. You want to document the property. You want to make sure you check the tenants before they move into the property, because once they have possession, it's pretty hard to get them out and it can be very expensive. And if you're looking for a property management company that's very adept at finding the best tenant for your property quickly, that'd be Progressive Property Management, and give us a call at 714-528-3100. And I thank you for your time.